Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. My name is Zach Miller. I'm the Vice President of the Energy Corridor Management District. 2 years ago, our district's Board of Directors tasked the staff with exploring ways to better address unhoused populations in our area. As many of you know, the typical response to homelessness is to reach out to law enforcement and begin the process of citation, ticketing, and then eventually a visit to jail. But our board recognized the limited utility of that approach. Our Precinct 5 Deputy Constable Sergeant shared a story of encountering a young woman and her 5-year-old son panhandling on the feeder road to the freeway. She had fled a domestic violence situation, she had run out of money for her hotel room, and she had nowhere to go. Our sergeant spent the next 6 hours, even after his shift ended, trying to find an open shelter bed for them anywhere in western Harris County. And while he was able to eventually find an appropriate place for them to stay, his encounter underlines the heart of the problem. There simply are not enough shelter beds to go around. In many circumstances, what people need is a safe place to stay where they can recover, and not a jail cell. So at the direction of my board, I reached out to West Houston Assistance Ministries and their amazing team, including the absolutely incomparable Nasa Gavion. Yes, big round of applause for her and Lashida and Laura and Sonia. The entire team here at WHAM have been absolutely incredible, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. So we got together to think through some ideas that would allow us to offer a safe, stable environment for folks in need. And together we determined that the best way to help people was to simply put them up in a local hotel room for a few weeks while they received some additional support and help to get them back on their feet. Our board supported the idea and funded it with $30,000 as a pilot program that would allow first responders to assess an individual, and if they met certain criteria, place them in a participating hotel where a WHAM case manager would meet them and help them begin the process of rebuilding their lives. We launched this program in August of 2025 in partnership with WHAM and our Precinct 5 Deputy Constables from Albritton's office. This three-pronged approach brought together hotels like the Wood Springs, and I believe they were here today. Yep, there they are. With law enforcement officers from Constable Albritton's office, and of course the social services delivered by the folks at WHAM. Together we were able to create the safe spaces that people needed to start rebuilding, and that initial $30,000 from our board allowed us to get out in front of a problem that we hadn't often seen before here in West Houston. This partnership and innovative thinking is something that we believe can serve as a model for other areas. And based on the success of the program's first few months, the board has authorized a total of $60,000 per year towards this effort, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our board chair, Mr. Chris Cook, here in the front. The district's financial support was swiftly matched by our elected officials, whom you will hear from in just a moment. But before that, I would like to introduce Ms. Sonia Scott, the CEO of WHAM Houston, and she's going to talk a little bit about the program and its outcomes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today as we talk about something that is incredibly important and just to share how together we have made this commitment possible. Before I begin, I want to thank Zach and Brian and the board chair and all of the council members, member at large, sergeants, commissioners, everyone who tells you what happens when organizations, businesses, community leaders, elected officials, and service providers all advocate for a common goal. Because homelessness and housing instability cannot be solved by one organization. It takes all of us. At WHAM, we believe that everyone deserves an opportunity to have safe, stable housing. And we know that whenever someone is struggling, we don't ask what happened to you. We ask what do you need and how can we help. That philosophy has been tested in ways we never could have imagined over the past year. As many of you know, Wham suffered a devastating loss when our pipes burst and our building flooded. We lost everything. But there was one thing we did not lose, and that was our mission. Our neighbors still needed us, and our team showed up in the commitment, and we realized quickly that Wham wasn't the building, it's the people. I want to take a minute to recognize my entire team who has done an incredible job, especially those who were on the ground, Patrice, Eder, Victor, Juan, Nate Sagavion, and Verita Duncan. And the executive team who helped behind the scenes, we all worked to make this possible. They showed up for Wham. Through all the navigating the chaos and coordinated problem solving, supporting the staff and whatever needed to be done, I want to give a special thanks to Verita Duncan, who took her Saturdays even to come to the building to make sure it was taken care of. But I want to do a special thank you to our board chair and our board, Steve Williamson, who's here today, all of our case managers and navigators who continue to serve in temporary and makeshift locations. Our neighborhood choice pantry and the staff found innovative ways to continue to get food into the hands of the families that needed it. And when the neighbors couldn't come to us, we went to them. Our employment services team continued to serve by helping with resumes and job search, job coaching, and these were in spaces that were not normal. Our team could have focused on what we lost, but instead we focused on continuing to support the community. I also want to take a minute to give a special thanks to Councilmember Tiffany Thomas, because when I sent the email out about the flood, within minutes she responded, she called, and she said, "What do you need from me?" And that question meant so much, because based on what we needed was to have the water shut off. The building was flooding completely. She made one phone call and escalated it, and someone called me within minutes to get the water shut off. But we knew at that moment that we were not standing alone. There were people standing with us. And that is exactly what today's partnership is about. It is about Wham and the Energy Corridor and a true wraparound response for our neighbors, all of those who are facing homelessness and housing instability. A hotel room may provide immediate safety, and that is important, but it cannot be the end of the conversation. We have to ask what happens next. Wham, we provide food assistance from our Client Choice Pantry. We help to connect families to rental and utility assistance. Our employment services help to provide job readiness, job coaching, and employment support. We also connect individuals and families to education and certifications for additional community support. And when mental health support is needed, we connect them to agencies such as the Harris Center. This is what a community response looks like. It is simply not putting a roof over their heads, but it's about helping them become stable. It's about helping families toward permanent housing, helping the parent to find a job, making sure children have food, and connecting people to resources that they need to become independent and productive. That is how we want to address the homelessness, one person, one family, one community at a time. But we cannot do this work without resources. The need continues to grow, and there's still so much to do. Wham has demonstrated that we'll continue to show up for our neighbors even when the circumstances of our own are difficult. But compassion, commitment must be matched with funds and investment. We need businesses, foundations, elected officials, community organizations, volunteers, individuals who are willing to invest in solutions. Because when we invest in people, we strengthen the entire community. So the Energy Corridor Partnership shows us what is possible when we stop working in silos and work together. When everyone brings their expertise and their resources and their commitment to the table, we can create solutions that are bigger than one organization. So I want to leave you with this. Homelessness is not someone else's problem. It's all of our problem. And at Wham, we want to continue to do our part to advocate and to help to get them to stability. There's something that we say at my church, Higher Dimension. We say we can't help everybody, but we can help somebody. And the somebody that we help is the way we wish we could help everybody. And as I was growing up in a little small town in Mississippi, and my sweet dad, who actually today is his birthday, he would have been 97, he would tell my sister and I, he would say, Sonia, Tanya, y'all get in here. And it wasn't proper English, but it made sense. He would get in here and wash these dishes and clean this kitchen. And we would yell back, we finna do it. And he would yell back, you keep saying what you finna do, just come and do it. So that's what I want to encourage you with today. Don't talk about what you want to do and what you're going to do. Just do it. Thank you.
As I mentioned, this program is a partnership between WHAM, law enforcement, but I think in order to give you a fuller perspective of just what this program has been able to accomplish, we'd like to ask a wonderful young lady to come up and share her story with us. Ms. Akila?
Hi, my name is Akila. I got amazing help from the WHAM program. Last year in January, I got evicted. I didn't have a place to go. I had found another place in Katy, but it ended up not working out. And I was living on a friend's couch. I didn't know where to go. I had gotten fraud, money stolen from me, trying to rent a house. And I was calling everyone around, calling Congresswoman, calling anybody that I knew, and they referred me to the program. They immediately called me, got me into the program. They were able to help me find a place, help me with the deposit and rent for a few months so that way I could get back on my feet.
Love hearing success stories. Good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Albritton, and I'm your Precinct 5 Constable. I want to thank the Energy Corridor and WHAM for inviting me here today, and more importantly, for including Precinct 5 in this much-needed program. Too often, efforts to address homelessness can focus primarily on just moving people from one location to another. This program takes a very different approach, one focused on providing meaningful assistance and creating a real opportunity to reduce homelessness in our community. We are proud to serve as the first step in that process. When our deputies encounter someone experiencing homelessness, they take the time to engage with that individual, assess their needs, and determine whether they may be a good fit for the program. That involves considering the safety and well-being of everyone involved, as well as the individual's willingness to participate. From there, our deputies work closely with the Energy Corridor and with WHAM to connect the individual with temporary housing and the resources they need to begin moving forward. That consistent interaction has also helped change the relationship between law enforcement and the people experiencing homelessness in our area. The individuals who may have viewed law enforcement as their adversary are beginning to see our deputies as people who genuinely want to help. That is what makes this program so impactful. It is not simply about having people leave the area with the hopes they won't return. It's about connecting people with resources, offering them an opportunity for stability, and helping them take the next steps towards a better future. It is my hope that other organizations and communities throughout Houston and Harris County will look at this program as a model they can follow. If they do, Precinct 5 will gladly do our part to help identify individuals, understand their needs, and connect them with the appropriate resources. This program is a win for everyone involved, and it allows us an opportunity to make a meaningful difference in the lives of people in our community. With me today is our Energy Corridor Supervisor, Sergeant Eric Lewis over there. Y'all can hear about him a lot. In fact, we were speaking yesterday, someone had showed up and said, I'm here for the Sergeant Lewis program. That tells you how involved he is. And next to him is Barbara McGinnis. She runs our Victims Assistance. Following today's speakers, feel free to get with them and ask them any specific questions about what all is provided. Again, I want to thank the Energy Corridor and WHAM and everyone involved for allowing Precinct 5 to be a part of this important effort. Thank you.
I had prepared introductions for each of my speakers, but I feel like you all know who they are. So, Madam Commissioner, yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lesley Briones, and I'm grateful to serve as your Harris County Commissioner, and I'm so grateful to be with our WHAM partners, with our Energy Corridor partners, with our City of Houston partners, and my Harris County partner, our Harris County Constable Albritton of Precinct 5 and the team, and of course my Precinct 4 team. So we know that after COVID, homelessness across the nation surged over 30%. And we know that on an average day, there's over 3,000 unhoused individuals here in Harris County. Harris County, over the last 5 years, we have invested approximately $100 million to address various elements of the challenges that the unhoused community are experiencing. Everything ranging from housing investments to employ to empower, where we give day work to unhoused individuals. And I'm proud that Precinct 4 is very actively involved in the hiring and putting our community members to work, eviction legal aid, homelessness response systems, and beyond. And we look forward to continuing these investments, and we're particularly focused on the permanent supportive housing piece and wraparound services. And when our partners, WHAM and the Energy Corridor District, came to my team and I and asked if we would be open to partnering in this pilot, we were all in. And we were happy that Precinct 4 was able to contribute $60,000 to help. And I'm so thankful to everyone who made this possible. And this shows what the power of partnership can do when we harness our collective commitment and put it into action, as our Madam CEO Scott said, right? We need to do something, right? Not just talk about it, we need to do it and take action. And we know the impacts already, that over 61% of the individuals we've been able to help in this program have secured permanent housing. That is huge. And so we're committed, Harris County is committed, and Harris County Precinct 4 and our Constable Precinct 5, and all of us are committed to working collaboratively so that we can leverage our respective resources and capabilities to do more together, so that we're creating more pathways to safety, to stability, housing, and most importantly, hope. And this is really personal to me because when I used to be a teacher, many of my students struggled with housing instability, food insecurity, and many other challenges. And we owe it as a community to come together to do more and be even more strategic as we continue to grow these programs. And so, I know we have some Spanish language partners here, so thank you very much. So muy brevemente en español. Buenos días a todos, soy Lesley Briones, su comisionada del Condado Jerez de Precinto 4, y aquí estamos con nuestros aliados, WHAM, the Energy Corridor District, la ciudad de Houston, el constable del Condado Jerez Precinto 5, y todo nuestro equipo, porque estamos trabajando en equipo, en alianza, para mejorar los recursos que podemos dar a nuestra comunidad. Específicamente, desde la pandemia, la falta de vivienda ha aumentado cerca de un 30% a nivel nacional. Y aquí en el Condado Jerez, más de 3,300 personas enfrentan esta situación. Y la cifra se ha mantenido estable, pero tenemos mucha demanda para hacer más. En los últimos 5 años, el Condado Jerez ha invertido cerca de $100 millones en varios programas por todo el condado. Y este es un ejemplo de esos. El Precinto 4 aportó $60,000 para mantener este programa piloto de WHAM y Energy Corridor, y el programa ofrece alojamiento temporal de 2 a 4 semanas con hoteles en esta zona y apoyo para encontrar vivienda, empleo, alimentos, transporte y otros servicios. Y hemos visto los resultados. El 61% de las personas en este programa ya tiene una vivienda permanente. Y esto demuestra lo que por seguridad, estabilidad y la esperanza. Así que muchísimas gracias por todos los que han hecho esto posible, y queremos crecer este programa juntos, porque todas las personas merecen la oportunidad y la seguridad y una vivienda segura. Y yo fui maestra y muchos de mis estudiantes estaban en una situación donde no tenían dónde ir después de la escuela, dónde dormir, qué comer. Y esto es muy personal. Y yo sé que aquí en el Condado Jerez, en la ciudad de Houston, podemos trabajar porque todos merecen esa dignidad y este apoyo. Así que muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Commissioner Briones, and thank everyone that's here this morning. This is a very special day. It's why you run for office, why you serve on management boards, why you practice your faith. Homelessness is a very complex issue. It involves a lot of mental health, certainly addictions, but it also involves some individuals and families that just need a lift at that moment. When we open our warming centers in the winter, I visit them, and you visit with a family. What got you to the homeless center? Often it's an abusive relationship, and all they need is temporary housing. Often they need bus or airfare to get back with a supportive family that may be, one instance, Little Rock. You can just help them with $100, $200 to reconnect with their family. City of Houston has a huge responsibility, and we're doing everything humanly possible. It is a top priority of my administration and my partners that are present here today. I can't say enough about the council members individually, in their districts, citywide. They're making a difference, particularly Councilperson Tiffany Thomas, always in the horseshoe, speaks up for West Houston, and it's very noticeable. The homeless challenge is citywide. In fact, working with our county partners, the Homeless Coalition, our new site, the Emancipation downstairs in the Houston Center, Harris Health, we are about to announce that it's a regional initiative. Has anyone ever noticed that Pasadena doesn't have a homeless issue? Or maybe Sugar Land, or Katy, or Tomball? I could talk about all of our partners in our region. We're glad that they are in our region. 700,000 people come to Houston each day to work or attend events. But the word's out. Houston is addressing the homeless initiative. Wham! You're attracting more clients. And that's good. And I don't think it's really publicly discussed. Commissioner, and thank you to our constable. We are kind of the beacon. In fact, one food service downtown is called the Beacon. But we are really the beacon for a holistic approach. And as so many of the speakers will say, it's about resources. We've got to reach out to our state partners, and quite frankly, HUD, and let them know that we're on a roll. We've got the leadership in all the right places. Mike Nichols came out of retirement as director of the Homeless Coalition, runs my housing department. We're all making a difference. So I'm excited. As I said when I got up here, this is why we were called to duty. So let's celebrate today, but leave here fired up, recognizing we still have a lot of work to do. Have a great day.
Good morning. Allow me to personally welcome all of you to the West Side. I like to say the best side, but this is a community that all of us share in service and in commitment, and we deeply are committed to this community. Mayor, Commissioner, Constable, to my colleagues, thank you for your presence. More importantly, thank you to all of you in the room who are joining us for this announcement and what we're doing. It is no secret that I am a hands-on council member. It is no secret that my staff shares that same commitment, and I want to acknowledge the District F team as well for lifting up a very large vision. It takes a lot to work with someone who is inspired all the time for various things. But in addition to that, we have set a standard of service on the West Side, and we're very clear providing individuals, particularly the least of these, with a particular level of service. So it was easy for me to say yes to the Energy Corridor when I attended their public safety meeting. If you have not heard Zach Miller talk about this program, please do. I will say you have a future preaching, because after he pitched the program, I felt like it was a call for the offering, and I immediately opened the District F piggy bank, and my colleagues joined me. You'll hear from them as well. The reason why I said yes to this, why it was so easy, is because once the mayor announced his initiative on reducing street homelessness, I knew that we needed to get to work on the west side to make sure that we built the infrastructure for that to be a reality for us. So we have several anchor partners who've been doing this work in tandem since that moment. I want to acknowledge them in the room. We have Agape Christian Fellowship. The bishop is here. We have Church Without Walls. We can go ahead and clap. Their contribution in cash and in kind so far is upwards of $45,000. So for if you are a member or affiliated with them, I want you to know you are sowing into good seed, good soil there, because it is reaping in the lives of so many Houstonians. Also, Church Without Walls. Daniel Williams is here. He's a senior administrator representing Senior Pastor Ralph Douglas West. A senior who could not be here, he is traveling. They have committed a $10,000 donation to support, so we want to thank you for that as well. Westside HPD, Midwest HPD's hot team. Easter weekend, we hosted our very first Westside mobile daycare at the Eldridge location at Church Without Walls, where we had 133 impressions. We visited 17 encampments on the west side. We were able to do things such as haircuts, case management on the site. Mayor talked about Mike Nichols, our director, is here. Nick from his team was right there with HMIS, inputting those individuals in the system so they can actually be cased and actually receive services and stand in that very long wait line for housing. So we want to thank you for your commitment as well. We followed up in June. On June 11th, we had a targeted outreach for 3 encampments where we touched 50 individuals, where only 5 were repeat participants. Right? So that's the work and the infrastructure that we're building out. So as I said, because of the work we were already doing, saying yes to the Energy Corridor and WHAM and the Constable's office in their program was an easy yes. I am deeply appreciative to my council colleagues, particularly, who I have the pleasure of serving this city with them individually and collectively. Their commitment to not just their district, but the city of Houston is showing as well here. And I know I claim the west side, but we do share that. And when I say the west side, I am talking about our collective area, making sure that we have resources. And before I take my seat and my colleagues join, I want to bring attention to the winter freeze of 2021. Councilmember Peck and I were serving at that time, and we didn't have a warming center. I think at the time we had a much more centralized response in the city of getting everyone to George R. Brown. And we were both with limited battery service asking each other, like, well, what are you doing? And what are you doing? So based on that, really the genesis of the work is that we learned lessons about making sure that on the west side, where people may be resistant of going downtown, they may be resistant to going to the George R. Brown, that we can open up an opportunity here. And we have done so from disaster recovery and now expanding that work to homelessness. So it is a great day in the city of Houston. More importantly, it's a great day on the west side of town. And I want to also just acknowledge our Ailey FISD board trustee, Darlene Bro. Last year, we hosted a stakeholder breakfast at the West Chase Management District. And we had a conversation with law enforcement, school district, all of our partners asking what must we do to address homelessness on the west side. The school district has been incredibly important to that conversation, where we have upwards of 1,100 students experiencing homelessness throughout that district alone. So we have much work to do from 419 all the way downtown, all the way to the west side. So I want to thank you for your commitment. Thank you to the board leadership for saying yes and putting your money next to the mission. And I want to thank you to everyone in this room, Bishop, First Lady, Heads Up Houston, the District F staff. The thank yous are unlimited. And this is hard work for a hard population. But that's why we're here, to do the hard things, right? And I often walk away from our events, Mayor, and I say that I'm probably more transformed than the people that we're serving. when I walk away with the work that we're doing, to see what they are dealing with, and the fact that I get to return back to security, I get to return back to stability. And so let us all be transformed. And as our CEO said, don't talk about what you finna do, just do it.
Thank you. I'm Councilwoman Mary Ann Huffman, and like our mayor said, homelessness is a complex issue. But at its heart, it's about people, and it's about the kind of city that we want to be. This initiative really does combine compassion with accountability and creates a pathway forward and towards stability. So I'm so proud of everyone in this room. I'm proud of the work that has been done, and I will continue to support this effort and join all of these people in making a meaningful difference in our community.
Good morning, I'm Initia, City Council Member for District A. It is an honor to get to represent some of the energy corridor in District A, to the energy corridor, to WHAM, to all of the partners. Thank you so much for this initiative. It is so important because homelessness, as we've heard, is not just a challenge for one neighborhood or one organization. It's a community issue that requires compassion, coordination, and real solutions, and that's what we are doing here today. We have to connect people experiencing homelessness to the resources and support they need while also keeping our neighborhoods safe and welcoming. So I appreciate the Energy Corridor for stepping up and bringing all of these partners together and willing to be a solution to this problem. So thank you so much for your leadership.
Last but not least, I am Twyla Carter, an at-large council member, at-large position 3. All that means is I claim the west side, the best side, the district of destination, A, B, C, all the way to Z. But honestly, I want to say thank you, ma'am, for giving your testimony, because you're what matters. You are why we do the work we do. You know, when the Energy Corridor came to me, they said two things: Councilmember Thomas and domestic violence. So it was, while Councilmember Thomas is a friend, domestic violence is what got my attention, and I said yes. At-large council members don't have district service funds, but I said I'll find money. And so it's a privilege to be able to contribute to WHAM to benefit a lot of the work I do every day, which is on domestic violence. I will give you a few facts, because this is what really, I think, when I talk about domestic violence, the intersection of domestic violence and homelessness, we don't even have to talk about it. It's obvious. But 70% of all calls to law enforcement in Harris County are family violence, domestic violence. 70%, not 7, not 17, 70%. Note that 1 in 3 individuals either have been or know of someone who has been impacted by domestic violence. 3 in 5 cases go unreported. So when you do the math, if we split this room up, it'd be everyone, right? There's some touch point. So it's an honor, a privilege. I've already scrounging to get funds for you all to continue to support this program next year, because it's so important. The work we do collectively, collaboration is key. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for making the difference. Even if it's just one for today, we all make a difference. So God bless you, and thank you.
Of course, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Commissioner, thank you, Constable, thank you, council members. Thank you all for coming. As soon as we conclude here, we're going to have some tours available so you can see some of the incredible work that's done here at WHAM. We're also going to be happy to take questions. We have myself, we have staff from WHAM, we have Sergeant Lewis, we have some other program participants available to share their stories. So press, please feel free to stick around, and if we can answer any questions, please do so. Let me just close and say that I think the approach that we have happened upon is it's working, it's cost effective, and it's highly replicable. So we would encourage anyone who's interested in supporting or learning more to reach out to us, and we will be happy to fill in any blanks. Thank you all for coming. That concludes this morning's press conference.